Welcome. It's me, Persita, and this is Persita's Paradox. Our subject today, love. Not loving others, but yourself. Taking the time to embrace exactly who you are and loving every minute of it. When you love yourself, the true definition of loving yourself is it's unapologetic and it is so open that it's overly exposed. Meaning most can look at you and tell that you love yourself just by the way you move, the way you speak, the way you embrace situations. What do I mean? You learn to forgive yourself when you're in love with yourself. Forgiving yourself is the absolute key to understanding what the love actually means. We tend to always want to feel as if we have to be perfect, even within ourselves. But when you love yourself, even your faults have purpose. You understand the bigger picture and you understand that you actually are falling always forward, moving towards whatever the goal is that you're seeking, and you allow yourself room to fail in the process. But all the while, just like a parent would pick up their child after they've fallen, you pick yourself right back up, you give yourself a hug, you dust yourself off, and you tell yourself, it's still possible. You can try again. You must love yourself. And you must love yourself first before you seek to love others. What do I mean? If I want to teach someone how to love me, the best example I could possibly give is loving myself. I don't have to describe that. I don't have to define it. I don't have to get irritated by the fact that they're doing something different. I can literally be my own example within myself. What we tend to do is love others the way we want to be loved and assume that the love language we're using is the exact same love language that they need. The author Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages. In that book, he describes 5 love languages that most present to their loved ones as their way of receiving love. The 5 of them are the words of affirmation, receiving gifts, physical touch, quality time, and acts of service. I would tell you that I'm an acts of service type of person. I believe that you are giving me your all, typically by what you do. So if you can take out the trash for me, or you're thinking about me and you know that I need my meals prepped and you do that for me, that definitely in my mind identifies as you love me. I tend to be that type of a person in my household. Funny thing is that most of the people in my household don't love that way. They're more of words of affirmation. They are not into my OCD ways, and they don't really understand why I have to have things the way I need them, but that's just me. So if I don't understand that they need for me to tell them that I love them, and they don't understand that I need for them to actually physically get up and do things to make me believe that they love me back, you can imagine the discourse that would be in my home. We tend to do that in almost all the relationships that we have across the board. We just do what we know that we like in hopes that they would understand that you're doing it to show and to sacrifice some type of a connection with them for them to want to cling to you. When you love yourself, you tend to not care so much about the perspective of someone believing you love them. You simply show them. Most people call it, you're from Missouri, right? Missouri is the show me state, if I'm not mistaken. So my point is that loving yourself is something that is outwardly expressed. You have to be conscious of what that would look like, not only to yourself, but to other people. You do not want to ever make anyone be uncomfortable within you loving yourself, but you definitely want it to be clear that you must know that the decisions that you're making are to better yourself. Now, my video might sound a little selfish, but what exactly is selfish? Selfish would be when you put your desires or your love for yourself in front of someone to harm them or to just disregard them. That's not at all what I'm talking about. The self-love that I'm referring to is actually in place to love a person better. It's there to uplift another person. It's not selfish at all. It seeks for the other person to feel exactly what it's feeling, which is total vulnerability to be able to express themselves. Selfish people tend to think of themselves in a manner where they feel as if they're better. They compete with you for status. They only want for them what can help them. And they could care less about you learning anything or embracing any growth whatsoever. They're caught up only in the outcome that would service them. Self-loving yourself is something that you want to share with others. You not only want to feel the love, but you want to give the love. So don't be mistaken by me saying to self-love yourself is going to make you selfish. Far from the truth. It actually makes you more of the most loving, understanding, considerate person possible. So today, I just want you to think about, how do you love yourself? If someone was to describe you and your personality, would they say that you love yourself or that you love yourself? You might say, well, isn't that the same thing? Is it a self-love that's a giving love, or is it a self-love that seems selfish? Now, even though people's perspectives are going to always be different, love is something that is actually felt before a person even opens their mouth. The vibration, the energy that you give off is something that obviously comes from within, but it is also something that is defined without words. So today, what is your definition on mute? What does your self-love look like? Let's affirm it. Let's affirm that we're going to love others as we love ourselves. You've heard it. It's a Bible verse, but outside of it being just a Bible verse, it's a true statement. I want to love everyone the way I love myself. I want to understand that it's not necessarily why a person did something, but to understand what is actually happening with the person. You open your heart up to be more considerate and to be more acceptable to people making mistakes. It doesn't mean that you hold a blind eye to the hurt that you felt or the discourse that has happened, but it does give you the ability to be able to move through it and to forgive. Because truthfully, if you can't forgive, everything that we're trying to build on this channel is pointless. You want to be aware of the fact that you want to be forgiven, therefore you forgive. It doesn't mean that you need to surround yourself with that person, but it does mean to let it go. Simply let it go. So today, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Again, subscribe if you have not subscribed. Share this video with anyone who you feel like can use it, and hit the notification button so that I know that you actually care and that you know when I post a video, right? Have a wonderful day. Remember to do nothing but these three things. Live life authentically. Have a blessed day.